Mm. Well, welcome to Let's Get Acquainted. And I'm here today with my special guest, Karen Shimazu Speed. And she's going to share her awesome story with us, a powerful story as a stroke survivor. And so come on in. If you know someone who is dealing with a stroke, been through a stroke, or maybe you're the loved one that's helping them through the process, come on in, share this broadcast out. Let me know who you are and where you're coming in from as you come on in. And so this is Let's Get Acquainted. This is also April, the month of hope, National Month of Hope. And we're going to be talking about how to hold on to your hope, keep hope alive in your life, in your health, and in whatever it is that you're doing. And so we hope to inspire, encourage today. And yeah, but first, what thing that we need to do is share this broadcast out. I'm going to take a few seconds here to share it to a couple of groups, and I would love if you would do the same thing. Just share it to those that you know and love, those that you know that need to hear this story. And yes, it's going to be a great time of sharing on today. I hope you've had a wonderful week. This is Thursday, and it's amazing how many people and different things that I've been meeting just this week alone. Just so excited uh, for my guest because I met her online during the pandemic. It's amazing again how many people I've met in last year in 2020. Some amazing people, and Karen Speed is one of them. And so I just have one more place, a couple of more places here that I need to share this. So please do go ahead, share it out. And if you're on my YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe to my page as well as click that little notification bell so that when I go live, you will be able to be notified so you can come on as well. Okay, one other place, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. There we go. So thank you again for coming in. I'm going to go ahead, bring out my guest tonight, and we're going to get started because we don't want to waste any time. It's so that she'll have enough time to share how God is moving in her life.
Eve. I
Hi,
let me.
hi. How you doing today, Karen?
I'm great. So let me share you my short story about who I
No,
am.
no, 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 not yet, not
Oh,
yet.
not okay.
She's ready and ready, ready, ready. I love it. I love it. But listen, we want to talk about, first of all, we want to welcome everybody. So as they come in and they let us know where they're coming in from, I want to be able to shout them out. And so we already talked about that. As you come in, make sure that you're sharing. And I've already said that um, this is the National Month of Hope. I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. This National Month of Hope was founded by Dr. Rosalind Tompkins, and she's of the Mothers in Crisis. And they started this and founded this National Month of Hope to help spread hope around the world. And what amazed me when I found this out is that this didn't just start. This is their 30th year anniversary. Karen, have you ever heard of the National Month of Hope?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And so did you know it was around for 30 years?
No, I have. I've never known that.
Yeah, 30 years it's been around. And so we think, I'm just thankful to be able to get in on it and help to spread that message of hope. And that's why we're here today so that Karen's story will be a message of hope to anybody that's dealing with sickness and especially dealing with stroke in their life. And so, how can we spread hope? That's what we're going to be discussing tonight. Before we get to Karen's story, uh, let me go down. Let's see. We got a few people that have come in before we get all the way started. Let's see who we have coming in with us tonight. Oh, look at there. We got Sean Williams. He says, "Good afternoon, Pastor." He's talking Pastor Hillary. Some know me as Pastor Hillary, Vibrant Life Coach, lymphologist. Either way, it's good. Thank you, Sean, for coming in. I appreciate you. Okay, then he says he's driving. So stay safe. Keep your eyes on the road. Please do. Now, look at there. We have Miss Patricia Rogers. Hello, hello. She's in Atlanta, coming in from Georgia. Thank you for joining us tonight. And who else will we, uh, who else do we have here? Miss Karen. Who is that? Miss Karen?
It's Laurie Condesa.
Yes. And she's saying, I think she meant to say
Aloha.
aloha. Yes.
Yes, thank
And
you
she
for
just
being here,
asked the
Laurie.
question. She said, what did she ask there, Miss Karen?
What's been around for 30 years?
Can you tell her?
Okay. I was trying to say that I wasn't a human resource manager over 30
No, no,
years.
no, no, no. What's been around for 30 years that we're here for tonight? The
It's for the
National Month of Hope.
hope.
Yes.
What am I thinking about?
You're so ready to tell your story. I can tell it already. So then we got Dr. Patricia Rogers, Atlanta. Listen, don't let me get it twisted. This is that Dr. Patricia Rogers, and she's also known as the visibility coach, and I love that. I love her too. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about some of the ways that we can spread hope. So volunteering. Have you ever volunteered to help other people in any kind of capacity, Karen?
Oh, yes, because I've helped at the church.
Mm-hmm.
We have offering ministry. We also have like mana ministry where we have the homeless. They come every
Yeah,
Thursday to pick up food. So
yeah.
we help with that. And moms in prayer, we have that at church. So I'm one of the prayer warriors.
Oh, we need you. We need you in the church. Yes, those are the ones praying in the back, praying for everybody else. That's amazing. And
Hmm.
yeah, volunteering. I remember on Thanksgivings, we spent a few Thanksgivings going to what they call it's an organization called the Little Brothers of the Elderly here in Chicago. They're a national organization, but they had a place here in Chicago. One of my coworkers was one of the she was a volunteer and had been for years. And so
Yeah.
she's like, come on one Thanksgiving and help us. We have Thanksgiving and a little party for the elders. And she said, you could come and help us to serve food or whatever you find yourself to do.
Mhm.
And that used to be a lot of fun to go on Thanksgiving Day and help them. And, you know, me, I was always ended up talking with people. After the first time when I came the next time, they said, Miss Hill, we just want you to go and socialize amongst the people because you love talking to them and they love talking to you. So that was always really fun, to give outside of yourself. And this is a great thing to try to teach our young people early, young, to volunteer, to
Mhm.
help other people. Don't just be so stuck on yourself. What do you think about that?
Oh, I believe that. Also, my auntie, who I used to take care for 15 years, I
Yeah.
kind of, because she's a seamstress, so I made her donate like over, I don't know, 200, 300 blankets. She made
Oh,
these
wow.
prayer blankets that would take to the, like church members if they're in the hospital.
Oh,
Every one of them
yeah.
will give them a prayer blanket, and then some of the members will come over and pray for that person. So she did that for the time she died. So that was
Oh, that's
something that I
beautiful.
encourage her
I
to
know they
do.
cherish those blankets too,
Yeah, because I have one
anointed.
too.
Yes, that's wonderful. So then another way is having healthy and meaningful conversations. And in the comments, let me know what you think about. Have you ever volunteered anywhere? And if you want to share, we would love to find that out. Let me see what people are saying about that. So as we're discussing, let us know what's going on with you in these same areas. And Lori said, a million
Million.
thanks. And Dr. Patricia Rogers said, you so funny. Visibility strategist. Okay, not coach, people. Hillary, get it right. Visibility strategist. She helped with strategies to get visible, stay visible, and make a difference in this world. Love you ladies too. So we go back up to our comment. The next one was having healthy and meaningful conversations. When you hear that, what comes to mind? To have a healthy and meaningful conversation. Karen.
To me, it's like reading the Bible. Sometimes when I open the Bible, He's talking to me right then and there. Because sometimes I don't read the Bible every day, so I'll pick it up and it. So that's my conversation with God. He's talking to me,
Hmm.
so I
Yeah,
cherish.
yeah. Sometimes I find like today we were out at brunch, had like a brunch, and I find having meaningful conversations, not just talking about the weather, not
Mm-hmm.
just talking about COVID, you know what I mean? But it's so much more going on in the life and in individual lives, to have
Mm-hmm.
those conversations, even about how God blessed you in the word and what it did for you, that you might want to pass that along, and share it with somebody else. And they may say, man, I read that same thing. And you find yourself having a more meaningful relationship. And I think when I hear healthy and meaningful relationships is not just arguing and debating. And some people, they just get in those negative kind of conversations all the time and talking about stuff that's negative.
Yeah, I
We
don't like
need
to
that.
listen to the news. The news I don't
Yeah,
listen to. Even watching TV,
yeah,
it's like I don't do that anymore. I used to be glued to the TV, but now I don't even open it.
yeah,
I just
because
want to talk
it's
to.
the same news over and
Yeah,
over and over. And sometimes it can, we're talking about you want to keep hope alive. Sometimes you have to protect your peace by not allowing so much negative stuff to
yeah.
come in. Everybody, what do you think about that? Do you find yourself having to tune out the news, tune out some of the stuff that's on TV, or that you just hear over and over? No matter, you change the station and they're talking about it, change the station and you hear it again and again, and it start making you, just be. What can happen when you have too much negative coming in? In your ear gates. What can
Stress.
happen? It can, hmm it can stress you. It can make you get. Sometimes you might find yourself arguing at somebody and you don't even know, and then wonder why you arguing at me, because you were listening to all that stuff and then got you riled up. You
Yeah,
want to be at peace. You want to hold on to your peace where you can be more calm and
yeah.
you know have more meaningful conversations. So then it says, they said that they did this so that people can minister to or pray for other people. That's one way that you can serve hope,
Hmm.
be a server of hope, and like you were talking about ministry and praying, for people by being in the different uh, church activities that lend you to lend that gift, that's going to help people. Because
Hmm.
sometimes when a person needs prayer, they don't need you to just be talking at them. They need prayer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, have you when you the what did you say the organization or the committee, the prayer committee is called at your church?
Okay, it's called Moms in Prayer. Actually, it's part of the Moms in Prayer International. So it's all over the
Oh,
world. So in our
okay.
church, we have yeah, Moms in Prayer ministry where we do it home. I put on my Zoom. I got like 12 of us ladies.
Mm.
We're praying for our children, praying for the schools. We even make cards and crafts to give to the teachers of the schools. So we do that as like a ritual. Every month
Okay.
we're giving away cards or to the teachers because it's basically praying for the children. But then we
Yeah.
still pray for each other after that. And for whoever needs prayer, we all just keep on going.
Yeah. That's wonderful, because sometimes teachers feel so unappreciated,
Yeah.
and we can only imagine what 2020 was like. How did that change, or what did you guys like step up during 2020 with school being online?
Yeah, that's why we try to get donations and people would donate like to make cards and stuff. And we give them little
Okay.
things, to go with it. So I donate candies and donate lots of stuff for school kids too, even backpacks. We have like
Yeah.
backpack ministry, canned goods ministry, anything we can
Oh
think of,
yeah.
even used clothing and we just pack it away and give it away.
Oh, that's wonderful. Those kind of things are your church, your the people of your church ministering hope. You
Yeah.
may not look at it that way, but that's really what it is.
Mm.
When people, just like when we were doing and food distribution and prayer. You can get free food and free prayer. We had on our big sign that we would put outside the church, and people would pull over in their cars, and they're like, I saw the sign about the food, but you say you're going to actually pray? You're like, yeah. And people had serious prayer needs, that they came in and just kind of poured out sometimes what it is that they need prayer for. And they left feeling, you could tell that just their countenance changed. They're walking a little taller and really
Mm.
glad to get the prayer and the food.
Because
So
for
it's just,
Easter, we had drive through Easter where the
oh,
through the car. I
wonderful.
think we had around could have been like 500 people a day. It was
Oh,
just a two
wow.
day event right before Easter. So they would drive around and we had all these booths. So they had
Mm-hmm.
resurrection eggs, we give to the kids, and there would
Yeah.
be plants and candies, and one booth would sing, and the other side they're playing another instrument. So it kind of interactive, but you don't get out of your cars. You just keep on going around the parking lot and going
Oh,
out. So that was
that
really
should have
neat.
been
That was
fun.
good.
Fun as well as administering hope, but having
Yeah.
fun in the process. The
Mm-hmm.
ones that were giving and the ones that were receiving it. Keep hope alive. We got to keep
It was
hope
all
alive.
free.
And so let's see. Then they had two other things that they had on their list, and one was lending a hand of help, and that's pretty much what we were talking about. Finding ways to help others in the ways that you can. And sometimes it may seem like a really small thing, but if that's what's needed, then that's helping. Help
Yep.
is, we want to be help that's real help. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
always say. Lord, send help that's real help. Let me be a help that's real help to those that have need of things that I can do. Because we can't do it all,
Yeah.
but where we can, we want it to be um, help, really real help to people.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Charlene Sparks is in. Thank you, Miss Charlene. Go to our guest right quick. This is Charlene Sparks, Women of Vision. She's out of North Carolina. Thank you for coming in. And Lori, let's see what Lori says. Gandiza, she says, for over 20 years, had a ministry at church, divorce recovery group for adults and children. And Lori was on our show. She got a chance to talk about that in a little more detail. And I think that is really awesome too, because within the church, people have so many needs.
Mm-hmm.
That we need to find ways to meet those needs. And when we talk about divorce, what was so different with what she did is that it wasn't just for the adults, it was dealing with the effects of divorce on the children.
Yeah.
That was the different angle, and I thought that was amazing. Help that's real help. Let's go ahead and read this comment.
Scripture says to exhort one another in the book of Hebrews 3:13. Wow.
Yes. And to exhort means to lift each other up. We're supposed to be able to help each other. Visibility strategists. Miss Patricia Rogers, she's saying hello to Charlene Sparks right now. But she always says, people need people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so true. God made us to need each other. No man is an island to himself, even
Yeah.
though some people try to live like that. So we're going to go to now the one thing that did we finish all of those? I think so. Let me see. And then the last one was help clean up in your community. That's what we had. In fact, that's what we had last week for where I live. The city, it's a small town right outside of Chicago. The city orchestrated for the different uh, areas with our aldermen to have cleanup where each person would clean around their homes. We could volunteer to help with the teams that were cleaning in other areas vacant lots and stuff like that. Since the snow has gone and left a lot of debris and garbage, you know, that just needs to be cleaned up so that the city could just come alive, feel cleaner,
Yeah.
spring cleaning, So
Mm-hmm.
that was good, and in times like that, you want to get as many people of all ages involved
Oh yeah.
because it's not just my community, it's our community. And when you put your hands to it, it
Mm-hmm.
makes you take ownership, you know, and be, what else does it do? It helps you to have that more hope, that
Yeah.
your community is alive. Your community is working together. Anytime we're working together, that's keeping hope alive.
Yeah. And you care. Show your
Yeah,
love.
that you care, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And said nobody cares how much you know. Let's just say you used to say caring is sharing, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody cares how much you know till they know how much you care.
Yeah.
You know. And so now I set this one aside. This was the other reason why the women, mothers and moms in crisis started the National Month of Hope was in order to share your stories of overcoming with those who are going through hard times or similar times. And so, with that, I'm going to give the floor to Miss Karen to share with us your story. This is Let's Get Acquainted. And so, I'm giving you the floor so that you can share with us about you being a stroke survivor. Yes, and how, what led to it and what has, where you are now versus where you were then. So I'm going to give you the floor and allow you to share your story. Okay, you ready?
Okay. So
All
hi
right.
everybody. My name is Karen Speed. I was an HR manager for over 30 years. And during that time, I was a chronic workaholic. I was a people pleaser, and I had a difficult time saying no. But my company was going through downsizing and all kinds of changes. So the company was in chaos, and we were, it just wasn't the same anymore. My main problem challenge was when my HR department went from three people to just one. So I, being all by myself, I had to struggle working long hours, sometimes till 2 o'clock in the mornings. I used to doze off because I got maybe 2 hours of sleep every night. So I wasn't really listening to my body. I just kept on going, pushing myself, saying, I'm not going to give up. But then I thought it would be easy for me to just walk away, but I couldn't leave. Actually, I loved my employees too much that I stayed. But before I knew what was happening, I had to pay a heavy price. I had a stroke, so I was devastated and stuck in my own body. Was paralyzed on the whole right side, so even my face was like lips was dropping. So the thing is, I didn't know what was happening, but I didn't even know what a stroke was. But then when here I was like stuck in my wheelchair, I just was thinking what I'm gonna do with myself. But I went through so many things, but then the stroke happened so fast. I didn't even know what was going on. But then after the stroke, I just realized that I was actually thankful for what happened. I felt like it was a gift from God because now is the time for me to slow down. So I knew he had a plan for me. So I wasn't depressed or sad or anything. I was actually happy because that was the only way I could get off my job. Because all my life I was a workaholic. Because it started from when I was a child. My father, we had like 8 kids. I mean, I had 6 brothers and 1 sister. So my father used to work 7 days a week. So all I could think of and see of my father was working day in, day out, 7 days a week. So I thought that that was the right thing to do. So from the beginning, that's what I wanted to do: work, work, work. So since high school, I was working 3 jobs at a time, and I just kept on going, not thinking that that was actually wrong. Yeah. So just to know that it wasn't, instead of putting God first, at that time I was work first, and I was just concentrating on work and just, but then actually I was falling asleep all the time and I was getting weaker and weaker. So I just knew that it had to change. So that's part of my stroke survival. But I'll give it back to you, Hillary. I can't hear you. So, Hillary, did you
Here
get
we
cut off?
go. There we go.
Oh,
You were
okay.
saying how you were following your dad's lead and you saw
Yes.
him just work and work and work and work. Was he wasn't at home much, huh?
No, he was working. All my mother was the one taking care of all of us and had extended family, grandfather, grandmother, had uncles, aunts, was all living in the same two-story house.
Wow. And so how many siblings do you have?
Well, I had six brothers and one sister. I was smack in the middle. So I thought I was a boy. I was just tomboy to the max.
Okay, and so it was your six you and your six no, it was eight children. Then
Yeah.
you said your grandparents were there, your mother and father was there,
Uncles,
and
aunties.
aunts, just a house full. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. It's amazing. You followed the lead of that. You were telling me that how you admired your dad, and you followed his lead because of how much you admired him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then when you were talking about on the job, how it went, they downsized. Why do you
Hmm.
figure they downsized from three all the way to just you?
I guess somehow they got used to it because I could do the work. But then I never told them that it was too much. I just kept on doing it, thinking I have to do it no matter what it takes. But at the same time, I had to take care of my aunt and uncle for 15 years. So I did that at the same time, working
So
and
you,
taking care.
yeah, so you were their caregiver.
Yes.
Yeah. And
And they
so,
were very sick most of the time.
mm, yeah, because you even had mentioned to me how uh, even even when you were at work, there were times when you had to leave work and go to care for them and then go back to work.
Yeah. So I'd go back and work till late to make it up. And I did it,
Mm.
but then it came to a point where you cannot keep on doing it. But I didn't know when to stop. I just kept on going until just like I wanted God to tell me what to do, but I wasn't listening. I was too busy trying to stay afloat.
And so, we talked about on the News You Can Use show with Lotus Richey, we talked about being people pleasers. Do you
Yes.
think that has something to do with why you kept pushing yourself?
Yes, because just like even though I couldn't really help everybody, I did whatever it took. People would ask, "Can I borrow money? Can you help me with this? Can you do this?" So I did it. No matter what people asked, I helped them. I even yeah, I gave even gave them advice and you know direct them to the president, and the president would give them money too.
What kind of place were you working, like at a behavioral health center or something
Oh
like
no,
that?
it was a wholesale distributor. So we would,
Oh,
deliver, products to Longs,
oh,
Walmart, and
okay.
stuff. So it was 24/7. So I was there till late.
Oh, wow. So where were you when you had your stroke? Were you somewhere where people saw you and could call the ambulance, or how did that happen?
So I was living by myself, and I came home from a meeting like 10:30 at night. But I felt like yeah, my arm was tingling, but I didn't know what it was. I kept on exercising, but I just fell asleep. So I didn't know what it was. I fell asleep, and when I woke up in the morning, as soon as I got up, I started falling on my right side. I didn't know what it was. But instead of calling the ambulance, I just called my son to come right away, and I went to the ER. So I should have called the ambulance, but for me, I could still walk, and it's just like I was going through it still yet, slowly going up my face. But I just so
Wow.
thankful that I survived and I could talk because a lot of people said their speech get really affected.
Mm,
So I'm just thankful that he gave me a chance.
yeah. And so, um, how did you ended up going back to the job, and then you then you quit afterwards, or did you ever go back to your job? You know.
Well, even while I was in the hospital, they were calling me up for questions, but then I didn't say anything. But we had the manager come to the rehab telling me when I'm coming back. I knew I'm never going to go back because, you know, but the thing is, they kept my job open for
Wow.
a year. And I said, I'm not coming back. But when I went back to the office to get my things, had a long line of people just to tell me hello. And I couldn't even pack up my things because everybody wanted to talk. So I had to come back
Yeah.
again when nobody was around to gather my things and come and leave. Because everybody just
Yeah.
wanted to talk and just welcome me back. But I said, I'm not coming back.
Because it sounds like they hadn't got you any help either. They just expected you to
No,
come back just like before.
yeah. But they did replace me, but I'm just glad that, I left.
Did they replace you with just one person, as far as you know, or did they have to hire two or three
Oh, I
people?
think they brought one person, but then we had a third party HR to handle the rest of the work, what I
Yeah, it
used
was
to
too
do.
much.
So then they changed after I had a stroke, but they regret. The vice president kept saying, yeah, they should have, they knew that because I was doing it without, you know, that really led to what happened. So I should have
Yeah,
opened my mouth and just told them, I'm not going to do this anymore. But I was doing it
yeah,
for so long that, they just thought, oh, you can do it.
yeah. And Lori says the company wanted to save money,
In a way, that's
because they're
true.
not just saving money on salary; they saving money on insurance and those fringe
Payroll.
benefits, you know. And it's just amazing because the same thing happened with on my job. There was a place where we had about, at the height of it, we had maybe about 10 people in the office. Then they broke it down. They let people go. They downsized the office to just 4 people.
Hmm.
But that was like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
If we were down to 3, it was like a four-legged table missing a leg. You know, everybody had to work hard to keep that leg up. That one, so the table could stay up. And
Yeah.
then there were times when people would leave and they're like, "This is too much, too much. You all expect too much from us." And there was at one point where it was just me and one other line staff. And so I was like you, I knew how to do everything.
Yeah.
I had come up from a line staff into management into being the CFO. But here I was having to dig back down in the trenches, and we had to keep those other two missing legs up so the table could stay up. And it
Mhm.
just got to be way too much, and then you start feeling like, can't they see that this is too stressful? Can't they
Yeah.
see this is too much? But if, like you said, if you don't say anything, as long as you keep showing up and keeping those other legs up, they're fine with it. And then they miss you because they're not going to find another person that's going to
Yeah.
come in and do that. So, yeah, that's just amazing. Let's see what our people that are coming in are saying here. I have Apostle Sabrina Seawood. She said, "Blessings to you both. Thank you so much for coming in." Uh, then we see, this is someone that's here in Chicago. William Pittman. He said, "Good information is always important. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you so much." And so now we're talking about, this is after the stroke. How did, was it, okay, you had to go through physical therapy, rehabilitation, right? And how long
Yeah.
did that take you? Was it a long time?
Actually, I'm still doing, rehabilitation, but the thing is, I think it's kind of like it's up to me. Like I can keep on going, but sometimes to me that's not the important thing. All it is I just wanted to, feel better about myself. I'm fine, even though I'm still not fully recovered because I kind of lift my arm above my head, or I still walk with a cane, but I can walk. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not that I'm happy. Well, I'm happy, but I know that one day I might get better. But for now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not wasting my time just thinking about my, the disability or what. I'm just moving ahead and living my life to the fullest. And I'm just so
Yeah.
happy that, God gave me a lot, I just owe it all to him for putting him
Mm-hmm.
first, actually, instead of work.
Yes.
Work is last. One thing I
Now,
really enjoyed was getting married again.
okay,
During my
tell us
stroke.
about that.
Yeah, so I guess at the company where I work, there was a IT person that I had met, but we're just friends. But I dated him for 6 years, and finally, when I had a stroke, then the light opened up, and he said God told him it was time for him to get married again. So he asked me to get married. So, I was like, at first I didn't want to because I felt, I'm disabled. I don't want to get married again, but I needed somebody to actually help me. But one thing I noticed with my hand, I was a right-handed person. But when I had my
Mm-hmm.
stroke, I couldn't use my right hand because every morning I put on makeup and all that. Everything was through the right hand. I never did use my left hand. For some
Right.
reason, right after my stroke in the hospital, I had all my creams for my face and all that. I tried using my left hand. It works. So my left hand
Wow.
could do everything, put on makeup, paint. And cook again. I could do
Wow.
all my left hand. So I'm just so thankful that God, He gave me another gift to use my left
Yes.
hand.
Yeah, because that would have been really another learning process, just
Yeah,
trying
so
to use your left hand when you've never used it before. It's not like you were ambidextrous, where you can use
yeah.
both either way.
So
That's
until you
wonderful.
do what you didn't know, you will never know. So that was so wonderful. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, and I know you didn't want to go into it too much, but when you uh, when you first came out and you were trying to get better, and you did come into contact with that product behind you, that
Oh
Zumio
yes.
water, that hydrogen water. I just wanted to ask. I know they have three products mainly that we deal with here in America, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the same. You tried the same two that I tried, and that
Yes.
was the Azumio, and what was the other one called?
Super lutein. The super
The super
lutein.
lutein.
Yeah.
Just briefly tell us when you were trying to get healthy and somebody introduced you to this, how did it affect you? Um, how did it affect you? How
Okay.
did it help you?
Well, I guess my good friend Laurie, who's on the show today, she just
Yeah.
came, called me up and said, I want to introduce you to a product, that can help you with your stroke. So I said, great, bring it over. So she came over, and she also brought her friend who was a stroke survivor too, who was taking the products. So
Okay.
when I started taking it, it's like I took the supplements, 9 supplements, and I took 3 pouches of the water a day. For one
Mm-hmm.
week, I was taking it consistently. And then I noticed while sitting on the wheelchair, I just noticed that, wow, when you try to stand up, I didn't feel any pain or anything. So I stood up
Mm.
and I started walking off the wheelchair with the cane. And I've noticed, wow, and I had so much energy. It was like God breathed in new life into me. I wasn't tired and just, no, I started walking and moving around and just woke me up and said, now it's time to live again. So that
Yeah.
changed my life for me. So I'm
Yeah.
also, yeah, selling the product too and sharing it.
Yeah. That's big. That's big. Now it's time to live again, and
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about with this hope. We have to keep hope alive because we have to live.
Mm.
We have to live. Long as we keep waking up every day, we have to live that day. And we want to
Yeah.
live, we want to live. Sometimes we don't really live. We just like when you were on your job, you just kind of almost like a robot just going through the
Yeah.
process. As you wake up, you get ready, you go to work, and then you work, 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 work. You meet everybody's needs. You're superwoman.
But
You're
you don't take
superwoman.
care of your needs. Yeah.
Right. You're not taking care of yourself, your health, and your needs for really living life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that I have, just purpose that I want to do too is make sure I live life. And we were talking about listening to your body. You said, just like I was telling you, I had never heard that before. You were saying you had never heard it before either. And how has just that one statement right there, listening to your body, helped you?
Well, I remember when you first said it, when I first met Hillary, the first thing she told me was, you should listen to your body. And as soon as I heard that, I was thinking, that's right. That's what I was trying to think of. And actually, right now, I'm constantly listening to my body because I know I don't drink enough water. So by drinking the Izumia and drinking more water, my whole life has changed. Like I know I lost a lot of weight and I changed my diet, and this is like I living to listen to my body because that really helped me become healthier. And in fact, I feel more smarter too about life and nutrition and all that. So that's changed
Mm-hmm.
my life. And thanks to you, Hillary, for saying listen to your body.
Yeah, we were talking about it. I was like, man, the first time I heard that, and then Camille said, this is powerful, Camille. And she's the fabulous Camille. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. The first time I heard it, I was like, how does somebody listen to their body? This don't even make sense. And my ex-husband used to tell me that all the time when we were first together. And I was like, I would sometimes when he would walk away, I would be thinking, how do you how do you listen to your body? How does your
Mm-hmm.
body talk to you? And so when I really did grasp what he was saying, it made me say to myself, "Girl, you're so crazy. What were you thinking your body was going to actually speak to you? But
Yeah.
a stroke is your body speaking to you.
Yeah.
Not having enough energy is your body speaking to you. Dealing
Mm-hmm.
with brain fog and not being able to hold on to your thoughts or think clearly or make decisions like you used to, that's your body speaking to you,
Yeah.
you know, and having vitality and feeling alive, that's your body speaking to you as well. It don't have to all be negative, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but we need to learn how to listen. Especially, it was a quote that I had one time, and it says, we have to listen to our body's whispers,
Whispers.
or else it will begin to yell at you.
Oh.
It might start out as a whisper. Maybe I need to drink a little more water until you have something like a stroke come along and you say, oh my God, I really do need to pay attention to my health. Because I know I
Mm-hmm.
don't drink enough water. I know I don't do this. I know. So it might start out just trying to be gentle with you, but then it might go into something more serious because it said, listen, you're not listening. You're not paying attention. What is it going to take
Yeah.
for you to pay attention? And to really so you can live your life. So I'm just so glad that you are on tonight because it's so many people who are dealing with strokes. I know I had an uncle who had a stroke, and he said that his mouth like had went down and he was losing saliva out of his mouth, and
I'm sorry.
because he had listened to, I don't know if he had listened to a doctor or some documentary about strokes, he recognized that that was the beginning. He was having a stroke, and he drove himself to the hospital, and they admitted him. He was in
Mm-hmm.
there for a few days, so he didn't wait. He went on. And then in fact, my that's the same uncle. He's the first of my aunts and uncles to pass away a few years after that. And
Mm-hmm.
he was upset. he was It was a really hot day, and he came home. He called his grandson. He was pretty close with his grandson, and they were on the phone talking, and he was complaining because he had just left the post office. Every day, I guess he would walk to the post office and get his mail in the post office box. So he would go to pick up his mail, and he asked the young lady at the window for some water because it was so hot out. He had to walk back home because it wasn't that far from where he lived. And
Mm-hmm.
she gave him some water that was like, it wasn't cold. It wasn't Didn't have no ice in it, and it wasn't cold, and it was really hot outside. And he got so aggravated by that. So as he was talking to his grandson, he was complaining and fussing and carrying on about about the water not being cold.
Yeah.
And my cousin, all of a sudden, he heard boom, boom. He said, "Granddad, Dad, Dad." He had just literally dropped dead in the
Oh.
middle of just stressing himself out about something so small,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And turns out he wasn't taking his medication like he should. They found bottles and bottles of medication after the fact.
Oh.
So we have to, either you're gonna follow your doctor's orders or you're gonna do what you can do to help your body
Yeah.
so that you can be healthy. Because I guess that was his body's last chance saying, hey, this is it. And he literally just, I think he was gone before he even hit the floor, you know. And so we don't want to just check out of here like that, you know. We want to be able to really, like you said, you decided I want to live, and that means you want to really live. So what are some of the things when you say you want to live? What are some of your dreams and desires? Some things that you would like to do or some places you like to go as you're getting better and things are opening up more now too.
Well, actually, by taking the products, I fell in love with the products and the company. So with the company, they had incentive trips. And first in my life, I went to Japan, like 2019. So I'd never been
Okay.
to Japan before. So I'm just so thankful that now I got to travel. So that's what I want to do. I want to, enjoy my life instead of working all these years to visit other countries and meet other people. And so
Yeah.
whatever I'm doing, that's the vehicle to get there. So I just want to enjoy my life and give to others and just go on from there. What God has planned for me.
So how this happened how long ago? Because you said you got married. This
Oh yeah,
this
so
gentleman realized, I better go on and get married before she could have just as well have died, and I never told her how much I loved her and that I wanted to marry her. How long have you been married?
it's only not even 3 years because I got the
Oh,
stroke 3 years ago, and I think it was maybe after 3 months of the stroke, I got married and I moved back home because I was living with my mother because I didn't know what to do with myself. But then, as soon as I found out that I could do whatever my right hand could do with my left hand, I knew I could do everything else I could
yeah.
again. So I moved back home and I'm living at home and like being like a normal person. But I cannot drive yet. The feet is not controlled enough to. But I think you can drive with the hand kind. But for now, I'm
Hmm.
not driving yet. So I know I'm on my way to better life because I always wanted to get married again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We got to keep hope alive. We keeping hope alive over here in Chicago, as far as that's concerned. Because everybody wants to live their life to the fullest, and for those that want to be in a relationship, you want to be in a healthy, loving relationship, a godly relationship,
Hmm.
or somebody that loves God like you love God.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's.
Lori, let's read what Lori has to say here. I want to make sure we didn't bypass her comments.
It's been
Go ahead.
said. It's been said that you can live without food, water, and air for a certain amount of minutes, but you can't live a moment without hope. Wow, that's so true.
Yeah.
Thank you,
When
Lori.
you live without hope, the Bible says hope is the evidence of things not seen yet, right? The evidence of things not yet seen. So that's why we have to keep hope alive. It doesn't mean that it's denied. It just
Hmm.
means it hasn't come to pass yet. That's why you keep hope alive, right? So have you
Yes.
ever had to, share that to someone, um, or do you consider have you considered being able to share your story with somebody else who's gone, you're doing it tonight, but is there any capacity that, like we were talking about volunteering, any ways that, you've been thinking about how you can help someone else that's coming along your journey?
Well, I've seen a lot of people who have cancer because my brother has cancer. So, although he had the products, he wasn't taking them. He was only taking the doctor's medicines. So after I forced him, after 1 year, he bought the product, but he wasn't taking it. He was taking the water at the end. Then he could walk again. He could eat again because he was so skinny and sick because he had cancer. But he's good now. He can walk. And a lot
Oh,
of friends that I
wonderful.
knew had cancer. They're they're getting better. In fact, I talked
Yeah.
to someone this morning whose daughter, she went back to the doctor and they can't find any signs of cancer. So she called
Yes.
me up to say thanks that she listened to me and started taking the products.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for
So,
that.
yeah. And so those people that are dealing with strokes, like at the rehabilitation center, have you ever
Hmm.
thought about going back there maybe where you could share your story with those people who are maybe feeling depressed, feeling hopeless,
Oh
like
yeah.
why is this happening to me? Life is never going to be the same again. I won't be able to be whole again.
Yeah, because they told me to come back, but I never gave them a call. So I'll do that. The psychologist there, she asked me a couple times to come back. But in the beginning, I said, I'm not ready yet, but now I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
Yeah.
back.
Because, telling our stories are powerful. I
Yeah.
don't know what people that are listening think. Do you think hearing stories, are they helpful to you? If you think that hearing other people's stories of coming through situations are helpful to you or inspiring, encouraging to you, put a 4 in the comments. Put a 4 in the comments if other people's stories have helped you. You know, we all have a story to tell. Sometimes people feel like, oh well, I haven't done anything major in my life. I don't have any stories, but we all have some kind of stories to tell. That's just like when you and I were talking the other night and just going through, you know, you kind of sharing some of your life with me. And then I would say, well, oh, that happened to me too. Or, oh, that happened to me too. You find out we have a lot more in
Yeah.
common than,
Mhm.
than we have a lot more in common as a people across
Yeah.
color lines, across ages, across,
Mhm.
you know, a whole lot of barriers. We are more alike just as human beings than we think, that we give God credit for.
Oh
And
yeah.
so Lori says here, let me see what she said. Okay, I'm going to tell on Karen. We were at a convention in Las Vegas, and the last day of the convention, she got married. Oh, oh my God, that's wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Just love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Say
Thank
what
you.
stays in Vegas. Say what happens in Vegas stays in
Stays in
Vegas.
me.
And she gave us a 4. So I'm so thankful, Karen, for you coming on tonight and sharing your story and, you know, just sharing how something bad happened. But
Hmm.
it really wasn't, it was in God's plan.
Yeah.
Do you think it was a part of God's plan for
Oh
you?
yes, of course.
And how so?
Well, I mean, like for God, He was always supposed to be first, and He is first in my life. But I was putting Him last because I would say, "Oh,
Mm,
I'll do that later." Like even I went to church, half the time I was sleeping, but I was there. So the thing is, I just knew that I was gonna be different now. But He really helped
mm,
me realize what was important in my life, and now
yeah.
I'm doing what is important. I'm happier and I'm thriving, and I'm just so thankful to be alive again.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Sometimes when it's time for change,
Hmm.
you don't know what's going to happen to bring about that change. And sometimes it
Yeah.
may seem really scary. Oh my God. But it's the very thing when you look back over your life. That's
Mhm.
you can say you can point to that event. That's when things change for the
Yeah.
better in my life, even though it seemed like it was bad at the time.
Yeah.
So I just thank you for coming on and sharing your story and um just being open to sharing because people need people. People need to hear stories. People need to know that there is a way.
Hmm.
There is a way, and God has a way for each one of us. And no matter how dark it might get, especially when we connect ourselves to the Lord, there's light. He'll shine His light on you, shine His light along your path to help you see. And that shining the light may be through us sharing our stories that help shine the light on somebody's dark path so they can see the
The
way just
dog.
a little bit further, right? And so I thank God for that. And I just want to say, you know, we're coming down to the end. It's almost time for the show to end. So, as your last words that you would like to share with this being a National Month of Hope, I'm going to give you opportunity to just say your last encouraging words or words of wisdom, words of hope that you would like to share with the listeners and those of our replay viewers as well.
I can say is believe in yourself because that's what I encourage everybody to do. Believe in yourself and help others because I always think about others first. So if any way that I can help, or I would encourage a lot of people to just keep on helping others. And I feel as though God will help you. You have to help yourself first, and then God will help you. I just hope everybody believe that too. Thank you.
Praise God. Thank you so much for being on. I think we have the last few comments here before we get out. Lori, Lori said, "You want to read that one for us?"
Says, God bless you, Karen, for sharing your story and encouraging people to never give up and putting their priorities in order. Hillary, 1 million thanks for sharing your platform with Karen. God bless you both. I love you both. Thank you,
We love
Laurie.
you too, Lori.
Yeah,
And then
love
she
you.
says here, thanks for sharing your story, Karen. You are awesome. Now, this is Lois. I don't know how to say your
She's
last
my
name, but
best friend, Lois.
okay. Thank you, Lois, for coming in.
Thanks for
And thank you for
coming.
making a comment here as well. So I'm going to get ready to close this out with my comment and just share a few ways how you can get in touch with me. Again, Karen, if anyone wanted to connect with you, how can they connect with you?
I can just connect with email.
Okay.
It's
And what is your email?
it's Karen KERENSS at Hawaii dot rr.com.
Hmm. Hawaii.
Hawaii, HAAII, Hawaii dot rr.com.
Okay. So there it is, folks. If you would like to connect with Karen, this is her email, Karen SS
It's
at
rr.com.
hawaii.rr.com.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
so with that, I want to thank you again for being on the show. I'm going to finish with my comments, and I'd love for you to just stick around in the studio before leaving. Okay.
Okay,
I'll see
thank
you
you.
in just a few seconds. So there we have it. I thank God that this has been another podcast toward April being the National Month of Hope. And we've had our wonderful guest on tonight, just sharing her story about how God can bless you, bring change into your life in a way that you didn't expect. It may seem awful to have a stroke, but then in the end, she see that it has opened the way for her to really live life and to fulfill her destiny in ways that's more enjoyable, and that's to say for sure. So I thank God for her being here. And again, when we take time to put God first, I love that she said that. Putting God first in your life is the key for any of us that want to fulfill our destiny. God has a way that's already made for each one of us, and that's including you, my replay viewers. God has a way that's already made. As you get connected to Him, we stay connected to be protected in the realm of the spirit as well as in the natural, and also to be led and guided by Him in the way that we ought to go, so that we can fulfill whatever the call is upon your life. Because whatever it is that God has called you to do is not just about you, it's about other people, whether it's those in your family or those that you work with, or however you encounter people in this life. So just be mindful of that God blesses you so that you can be a blessing, so that you can be a messenger of hope, an example of hope by some of the ways that we talked about earlier in the show. And if you didn't get a chance to see that, please watch the replay, because there were some interesting things. This being the month of the National Month of Hope, started by Dr. Rosalind Tompkins. She's going to be on the last show of this month. So to go into more detail about why she got it started and all of that. So in order to connect with me, I'm your Vibrant Life Coach, your lymphologist, certified lymphologist, author, speaker, and I'm also a pastor. I empower busy women leaders, not just busy women leaders, but mostly busy women leaders with strategies to transform their health and peace by reducing stress, anxiety, and inflammation, by activating the lymphatic system and maintaining a healthy lymphatic system. All of these, my clients, as a result of working with me, experience better health, better sleep, more energy, increased energy and clarity of mind, boosted immunity and vitality. Most of all, we want to have vitality in our life. That's that feeling of youthfulness, no matter what the number is saying, because every day, every year, that number's going to go up a little higher, but we can still be young at heart. And so that's what I do. If you need coaching, if you need some strategies, you need some support and accountability so that you can fulfill some of the things that you have destined for your life and for your business, or just life overall, you can connect with me by I meant to have this streaming here, but you can connect with me here at bit.ly// speak with Hillary, or you can direct message me right here on Facebook, YouTube. You can put in the comments there, or you can come over to Facebook and direct message me. I will be sure to get in touch with you so that we can see what can we do to help you get your life back from the control of stress, anxiety, and inflammation. And so, also, if you would like to support, show your support for this show, you can go to my PayPal account, paypal.me// Hillary Gooden. All donations are welcome. And so, I also want to let you know, just kind of getting it all in at the end here, that I'm on every Tuesday night for the Vibrant Good Health Show, where we talk about all things that have to do with how you can help your body help you live a more vibrant life by doing the things that you can do that are easy, natural, and drug free. You'll find me on my trampoline on Tuesday nights because bouncing is the number one way to activate your lymphatic system. So join me on every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then every Thursday, like tonight, every Thursday we hear for Let's Get Acquainted, where I'm showcasing someone, male or female, that has a story that they want to share with the world of how they're helping others and just being a blessing. And in this uh, month, we're talking about being a blessing of hope. So every Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for Let's Get Acquainted. If you're interested in being on the show, you have a story that you want to tell, you want a story that you want to share with the world, please do direct message me so that we can get on a call and see what that story is so that we can get it out to people that need to hear how God is helping you to help others. So, with that being said, that's pretty much what I wanted to get out tonight. And I'll see you next week. Be a blessing, be that blessing of hope. And most of all, keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. And good night.